Yeah, so playing in a worship context is a different thing because you're often using the cymbals only in certain parts of the song, not the whole way through. In fact, a lot of the time I'm starting on the floor toms, on the toms to create a kind of a gentle build and then eventually building up to a crescendo later in the song. And many of you will know that a lot of worship music has this huge ramp from very small in the beginning to very loud or a real crescendo at the end. So in my setting, I'm trying to create a lot of wash sometimes in using swells with the cymbals and when I get to the ride, I don't mind that it's got that sort of washiness to it. I actually don't need that massive clear definition that you would often use in a rock setting, because it's about creating a shimmer or a buzz underneath the band. It's not being a dominant instrument, and that's really, really important, isn't it? In a church setting where often you're not in a situation where you can project and it's often a small room. You need to be underneath the rest of the band, in particular the vocals, and so keeping the cymbals down is really, really important for that. Using some of the amazing new Trinity cymbals could be a great way for you to achieve that because they're thinner, they're made to be played softer, and that's a really important part. But so choosing some great cymbals that are not overbearing and playing them gently and just using the washiness of the cymbal to carry the atmosphere is a really great technique. So I encourage you to experiment with that. Yeah, so atmosphere is everything in worship music. It's all about creating a picture, if you like, with music of what the words are trying to convey. And of course that's the same in all sorts of music, but worship music is about singing to God and about some of the struggles of our life. And so it's really important to be able to create layers of shimmer, if you like. That's why I think of it anyway. And earthiness and the kind of the shimmer of like it'd be maybe like looking towards the sky or the clouds or an amazing horizon. The cymbals have got the ability to convey all sorts of different feelings and emotions. And so it's about how you use those textures and how you use those crescendos and decrescendos, if you like, the louds and the softs within the song to really create great atmosphere. So I encourage you to experiment with that. It could be using more rolls or building towards a section and then letting the cymbals ring out, or building towards when you're building up to play a part or a pattern underneath the song. There's so much ability and scope there to be able to do light and shade with cymbals. So I really encourage you to experiment with that, particularly with washy sounds. I think that's the amazing way that music in some ways has turned, rather than from really clangy, loud, noisy rock cymbals to more of a shimmery, atmospheric sound. Is really fun to experiment with. So make sure you check out Red Cymbals for some different models that might help you achieve that. It's a lot of fun to play with.